Hey guys, Sunday blessings. I hope that you're all safe and that you're all well. I am just coming on to review a new tarot deck for you lovelies. So, the deck that I'm going to be reviewing for you is the Labyrinth Tarot. Quite a few of you lovelies saw that I got this for my birthday the other day and were commenting on it, so I thought this best be the one we start off with. I was very lucky, very spoiled, and I was able to get quite a few new decks, so that means new reviews for you guys to look into. So the Labyrinth Tarot, this is a cool little lovely deck. Love the image of David Bowie. David Bowie was so powerful, so amazing in this film, and I really love this deck because I do feel it's a great tribute to him in a lot of ways, as well as the film itself. So this is really cool. So this has been produced by Titan Books. So we've got their logo on the back. I'm not sure if we've seen any of their decks before, but you know, they are there. So lovely kind of matte sort of finished box. Lovely box. With everything kind of on. It's got the Jim Henson logo there as well, because obviously that's who this deck is, you know, related to in terms of the film. So this is like the official deck. So this has been obviously proofed by those guys. So as we open this up, we go into the book, which we'll look at in a bit more detail later on. The book's kind of quite cool actually, because you've got coloured pictures and then bits and pieces. Obviously these are slightly better because you've got like a full image there with everything in. Lots of information, lots of bits and pieces. Lovely. So these are the cards themselves. They sit lovely within the box, and then this is the back of them. And the cards are a great kind of lovely matte finish, normal sort of tarot size, reasonable sort of stock thickness, not too thin, not too thick, you know, nice quality. So I'm going to sort of just run through and sort of show you these for what they are really, and hopefully you'll enjoy them. If you love this film, for me this, you know, Labyrinth was something like Labyrinth, Willow and a couple of others. That was my childhood kind of growing up. So for me this is a really cool, I mean, just look, the magician here, he is the magician, and look how powerful that kind of card is, you know, with everything going on there. So this is a really cool deck, I have to say. I really like it, so I hope that you will too. It's a great collector's deck, definitely if you're a collector of tarot. If you have a connection and love the Labyrinth, then you need this deck in your life really. A couple of the cards are different, like this one for instance, instead of it being the Lovers, they've changed that to the Dancers, but I quite like that actually. That's quite cool. So you can really see sort of familiarities with the film as we kind of go through this deck. I'm sure you will see lots of things. To me, when I got this deck, it was almost like, oh my god, it just makes me want to watch the film all over again. So it's one of those, and it's just a timeless film, isn't it? It's one of those films, it doesn't matter how many times you watch it, even if you know the story, it's like you can still watch it again and again and not really get bored. So I think it's pretty cool. So instead of Wheel of Fortune, they've changed that, or sorry, instead of Death, I think that's meant to be, they've changed that to Fate. So that's quite interesting. So there's a couple that have changed slightly, only slightly, variations. Like this one, instead of the Devil, they've changed that to the Demon. But obviously is more befitting of the character in the card. So I think that's pretty cool. I think this is very clever, the moon with that sort of, you know, little worm kind of coming out of it there. I think that's very clever how they've done some of it. I like the fact that they've not overkilled on the characters, but there's just enough so you can understand the story for what it is. This wouldn't be a deck that I would work with for the general public. This is definitely a collector's deck, I would say. So what we've got now, instead of like sort of the wands and the swords and everything, they've changed the names of the suits. So we've got poles. I haven't actually looked up what that means yet. I'm guessing it's the equivalent to either swords or the wands though. So we can look at that if we need to in the book. Now, one thing I do feel that lets this down, they've got great stuff with the court cards, but where I don't like the energy is when we go into the minor arcana. So like this, 2 of poles, maybe 2 of wands. Same with this, 3 of wands. And this is like, if you were reading this, you know, if you know and if you're fluent with tarot, it's not going to be such a problem. But if you're not, if you're somebody that's new, this is where this deck is not going to really be as suitable or as comfortable, because it's like you'd be looking at that thinking, well, what am I actually getting from that? I would struggle to read that from an intuitive space if I didn't know what the cards meant already. So I think that lets it down slightly. And I'm noticing quite a few tarot decks, particularly ones that are tributes to sort of movies or shows or things of this nature, seem to all be having that theme where they do that. And it's like, you know, that could just be like a load of junk almost, you know. And speaking of junk, this makes me laugh because they've changed one of the context to junk. So we've got the king of junk here, and then this whole suit is junk. So you know, that's probably going to be instead of maybe cups, or like I say, I haven't sort of looked up what it replaces, or pentacles. It's going to be one of them, isn't it? So that's quite interesting. So these are really cool. I love it where you've got a story and a bit of something to work with. But then, like, again here, as we move forward, we're just going into the 2s. I mean, that could be anything, couldn't it, really? It doesn't give you very much to work with. So it really, really does test you on an intuitive level. But a lot of people, even if you don't really like to use the book, you probably would have to go and look at the book, because I'd have no idea what that is. You know, and I've been reading tarot for like 8 years, and I wouldn't have a clue. I'd be like, I don't know, without looking at the book. So I really feel like these, this lets it down slightly. I think this is slightly lazy. I understand that maybe that's the theme or the approach. The Disney Villains Tarot deck is like that as well. They've got great images on the major and the court cards, but then it's like they've almost kind of given up or got a bit bored with the other ones. I don't like to see that, because I think it lets it down a little bit, which is a shame. Because the rest of it is amazing. And had it all kind of run simultaneously through, it probably would have been a complete 10, but I'm going to have to deduct some points, so I think it brings it down to an 8 really, which is a shame. But like I say, because had it been in place, it would have made it easier to read. It would have meant that maybe I would have read it more, with my clients, but certainly it wouldn't be a deck that I would feel comfortable or confident with showing clients because of that. But like I say, all these other ones are really, really cool. So it's a shame they didn't sort of follow that through. I'm going to quickly show you all of these. We're into the pots now. Why not? Just so you can see. Similar theme running through. Do these very quickly. And then that is the deck, guys. Because everything else is like spot on. So it's just a shame about that. Sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. This happens a lot when Spirit come close. And I know that Spirit are around me quite a bit at the moment. Okay, so as ever, going to channel the cards for this Sunday for the highest of good. See what we get, see what we need to know about. They do glide very nicely because they're a gorgeous matte finish and they're a good sort of quality stock and everything else. They do glide really nice, so I like that side of things. Okay, so just giving these a really good shuffle, because obviously these were all a little bit kind of over the place. So, oh no, I'll know when it's right, because there'll be just the one card. That was too many. They stuck together. There we go. Queen of Poles is coming out for us for this Sunday. Okay, let's have a look. Let's find her in the book. Let's see what she has to sort of say. As we look at the book itself, a little bit of a story about the sort of the film, the introduction, behind the scenes stuff, and then literally it's like straight into the major arcana and then the minor. So that's quite interesting. Okay, and seeing if there's anything on the back at all about anything. There's a very brief bit about the artist and the illustrator, which I don't think I've sort of touched on. So the illustrator is Thomas Hijo, who is a gentleman born in Spain, and the author is Minerva Sigel. And she also did the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck. Oh, she's done a few here actually. Supernatural tarot deck, Manifest Your Best Life. She writes about tarot witchcraft. So there's a few interesting bits there as well. So that's pretty cool. Now, what I do like with this, it's quite more sort of basic meanings, but what you have got here is like an upright message, and then a sort of more traditional one. So you've got upright and you've got reversed. So you've got the positive and then the negative, depending on how you read the card, if you read the card that way. I'm seeing if it says what poles represent, because I would like to think that it would. It probably is more back at the front. They'll probably show me a breakdown somewhere of what poles actually means, because I do need to find that out really, don't I? Yeah, okay. So yeah, so they replaced the wands, which I thought it would be. Okay, that's fine. So it just sort of says here then, the Queen of Poles represents someone as expressive and enterprising as the goblin Gerdu, who's known for motivating others with inspiring theories and philosophies. The Queen of Poles enlevens any room she walks into with her illuminating discourse and creative, stimulating ideas. Okay, so that's interesting. And then reversed, the Queen of Poles symbolises someone who's lost confidence in herself. Insecurity renders her uncomfortable in social situations, so she often tries to fade into the background. This card is a call to believe in yourself again. Your ideas are valuable and deserve to be shared with the world. So that was if you were reading it in a negative light. So they're quite brief. There's not huge amounts to work with there. So, you know, basically if this was coming in upright, that's how I would read it. It's about believing in yourself, your power, your magic, your capabilities, and owning it. I wouldn't take the negative reading unless you're feeling into that at the moment, because I always like to sort of read the positive with tarot on a personal level. So all in all, I think this deck is pretty fun. It's pretty cool. Like I say, if you love the film, I mean, I love that on the box. That is powerful, isn't it? The way they've captured David Bowie. And I have to say, I think that when he was playing the Goblin King, that is one of his best looks. He's very fit when he's in that film. It's, yeah, he was hot stuff, I'm not going to lie. So I think really this is an amazing deck to have if you are connected to the film in any way, you know, childhood days and all the rest of it, or just nostalgia. I definitely think that this is a deck worth having in the collection. Like I say, it's not one I would work with all the time, but it is a lovely one to have. So check it out if you feel guided. I would give it about an 8. It's the Labyrinth Tarot, and I'm going to leave it with you. Hope you enjoyed it and hope it resonates. Stay safe, stay well, have a fantastic weekend, whatever you're getting up to. And I am off to Chippenham, so I will see some of you lovelies over at the Be Well and Beautiful Psychic Fair in Chippenham. Have a great day. Catch you soon. Bye.